on?
Well, he inherited a business that had 85% of its generation capacity coming from coal. He initially made the right noises and said he was going to refurbish that stuff. He had 80 billion rand at his disposal, which he chose to rather repay early debt instead of putting it towards the fixing up of the plant. And the bottom line is he then changed tune. I don't think if you're in charge of a coal-based generation plant, it's within your purvey or ambit to change strategy and say, I'm going to dump all this stuff that I've got and it's been running for 100 years, and I'm going to go into untested renewables where the EAF is below 20%, in fact, it's below 15%, when on average, properly maintained coal has an energy availability factor of above 80%. So, it's apples and pears. You can't do that. And the whole culture of the organization is geared towards running a highly technical engineering business. And now you want to swap it for solar panels and windmills. I mean, it's ridiculous. It just shows he was totally out of his depth and totally out of tune with what's going on.
Well, talking about him out of his depth, and the key issue here is, how costly has this decision been to move away from coal, or the failure on his part to, stay with coal for a while until we, got to a stage where there was some certainty as far as alternatives and renewable energy goes, Ted.
Okay, so the Bureau of Economic Research quantifies the loss of load shedding this year at 560 billion rand, but they're only taking in the direct cost of load shedding or unavailable energy. But if you take in the disruptive cost, which, I mean, that your whole day is messed up because load shedding, your staff are messed up, you're sitting with staff coming for an 8-hour shift and they can only work 4 hours, etc., etc. The disruptive effect is 5 times higher. So the cost, Mr. De Ruyter's folly and failure has cost this economy more than 2 to 2.5 trillion rand and thousands
Yes.
of jobs.
Well, certainly, but also I think just looking at it from the government's perspective, and I mentioned Gwede Mantashe, and there was some brutal attacks that were made, and some of the opinion that André de Ruyter had sacrificed 3 years of his life for what, and all eyes or all blames is now being placed on the government, and but like as you mentioned, he came in through the back door. People like Pravin Gordhan was actively involved. Pravin Gordhan is now being seen, and I've seen one union issue a comment on Pravin Gordhan as an SOE wrecking ball. This is exactly what they've described him as. And we've seen silence. We've seen so much silence on the part of the government. We haven't seen the president making any bold statements with regard to the resignation. And we know at this point in time, Eskom is the biggest problem in the country right now.
No, absolutely. I mean, Eskom runs 90% of the economic activity in this country. So, and in fact, in Southern Africa, not just this country. So, yes, it's a typical cog in the wheel of the economy and lives of everybody in this part of the world. And we would have thought that the government, and Pravin Gordhan in particular, who I have no brief for, would have applied his mind properly before he decided to make a political appointment of a square peg in a round hole. When he had excellent other candidates with deep engineering experience, deep Eskom experience, deep utility experience to choose from. So, no, I think the ANC must be held responsible. The rate has wasted 3 years of Eskom's time, and we're now in perpetual heavy energy load shedding, which is not the case when we started. And we've lost 3 years of fixing up Eskom. If they had done the 80 billion rand, I don't think that the timeline was realistic, but nevertheless, if they put a SWAT team together, we could have resuscitated at least 20% of the coal fleet by now, which is 6,000 megawatts, which is 6 levels of load shedding. So, no, the hiding must fall on the backsides of the people who've messed around with our futures.
Yes, and also looking at as to where we are as far as coal is concerned, and looking at the future of coal in terms of power generation in the country, and mention the interview that you had earlier on, and there was some disagreement with regard to where we are, but also at the same time looking at countries like Germany, for instance, who have now moved back to coal. And we know that there is a war situation. There are energy constraints right across the entire world. But clearly, looking at Germany, what they are doing compared to what we haven't been doing, just your reading or your analysis on this, Ted.
Well, the other commentator on that station is a political animal of note, and I've known him for more than 30 years. For him to say that Germany is committed to renewables, the fact of the matter is what they say and what they do is two different things. When they were in the Dwang in deep trouble, the first thing they did is switch on their coal power stations back on again, and those coal power stations are much older on average than Eskom's fleet. So it's just not a question of how old the plant is. It's how well it's been maintained and how well it's been run. And De Ruyter had that opportunity, and he messed it up. So, yes, I mean, and then coal in Germany and the first world isn't run like Eskom runs coal. Eskom runs coal like a spaza shop with lots of pollution and lots of corruption. I can take you to a first world power station and put you within 10 meters of the power station, and other than a bit of vibration from the turbines turning, you won't know if you are standing next to a coal power station. There is clean coal technology that doesn't do any pollution.
Ted, I think we have lost Ted. We're going to try and see if we can't get him back quickly for some reason or the other. We've had Ted. Are you back with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry, we just lost you there for a second. You can continue, Ted. You were talking about coal power stations.
Yes, I said I can take you overseas to coal power stations and I can put you within 10 meters of the station. And other than feeding a bit of vibration from the turbines, you will not see any emissions. We don't need to run dirty coal. We can run clean coal. The technology is available. In fact, I've got access to new technology that's even better than the current clean coal technology. So to say that coal is dirty is a misnomer. It's just the way that Eskom runs it with no regard for people and the population and the customers. It can be cheaper, much cheaper, 75% cheaper than Eskom's current pricing trajectory, and it doesn't need to harm anybody's health.
Now, Ted, just finally, with André de Ruyter obviously leaving, what options are there for the government? What should they be doing?
Well, firstly, I think they need to move the portfolio from the wrecking ball to Mr. Mantashe, who understands coal, comes from the coal industry. I've known him for more than 30 years. And then they need to ring-fence Eskom from political influence. They need to appoint specialist turnaround people who've got the experience, because Eskom is now in really ICU, and they need to put a team together. It's not a one-man job to fix up Eskom, especially in this particular very sad state of affairs. I've been asked to advise that a possible turnaround team, together with other experts, and if we are given the mandate, we'll fix that thing and get it running with minimal load shedding within 6 to 12 months, and probably very good help within a period of 2 to 3 years. And we can probably recover the debt and pay the whole lot off and reduce the price of electricity within a period of 3 to 5 years. All that is possible, but then we need the political snouts out of the top.
Well, Ted, let's hope that someone sits up, takes notice, and listens to what people like yourself have to say. But for now, thank you very much for your time, as always, with us here on Salam Media.
You're most welcome.
Ted Blom, energy expert, with us this morning against the background of the resignation of CEO of Eskom, André de Ruyter. We're going to go for a break. We come back. We'll be joined by the Al Imdad Foundation.